Hi, this is Lisa, and we're here for a little small talk with Esther Kustanowitz. Hi, Esther.
Hi Lisa, how's it
It's
going?
going great. Esther is a writer, editor, and social media consultant, not to mention one of the Jewish world's leading blogging ladies with a loyal following on not one, but two well-trafficked blogs, My Urban Kvetch and JDaters Anonymous. Esther is the one to watch when it comes to social media, pop culture, Jewish community, and innovation. So welcome, Esther. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really delightful to be able to use new media to communicate like this. It's wonderful.
So, just in the month of December, you've told us that JDaters Anonymous had 2,800 unique visits from 61 countries, and you picked up another 5,800 visits on My Urban Kvetch. And I guess I should also not be surprised that you have 2,351 friends on Facebook. So, a lot of people connecting with you and each other online. So, tell us, you know, this world of social media, how is it taking the Jewish community conversations to a new level?
I think that, one of the things that we've always enjoyed doing as Jews is playing Jewish geography. And I think that Facebook has taken Jewish geography to a whole new level. But beyond that particular game of it, I think that one of the things that we've always liked to do is to connect with people who are like us, but not necessarily exactly like us. So as globalization affects the world economy and technology enables globalization, technology also it also enables the globalization of the Jewish people to a degree that we didn't really have before. So the ease of communication with people in other countries and other circumstances has never been easier to communicate with people who are in different lands and different modes of life. So I think that definitely the technology in and of itself has helped us to get a little bit closer to Jews around the world. And I think that it's something that the traditional institutional Jewish community struggles with, because so much of traditional Jewish life was based in community, the immediate local community. So the question is, when the community is more than just local, then what are the responsibilities to the larger global Jewish people? How do you manage to serve the needs of the people in the local community while not ignoring them, who are the primary reason for that community's infrastructure to be there in the first place? So I think it's a really interesting time. I also think that one of the things that we're dealing with now in general is that people don't identify just with one community. We're seeing not necessarily a breakdown of the denominations, but kind of like a blurring of the boundaries between different denominations and different ways to observe Judaism. So I think that many of us are loath to describe ourselves as belonging to a certain denomination. We may say, I belong to a conservative synagogue, but I have a day school background, and like I do Shabbat most of the time, or like I keep kosher in and out. Like there are all these degrees of affiliation, and identity really being a much more complicated construct because there are more opportunities. So I think that there are tremendous challenges for the Jewish community, but I also think that there are tremendous opportunities to not be boxed into something specific, and to really kind of identify in a way that you think really describes who you are, in the totality of yourself, not just in terms of your Jewish connections, but in terms of your identity in the world, in the secular world, in the professional world, the personal world. So, and all of these things kind of converge in the Facebook, social media, Twitterverse, blogosphere, whatever you want to call it, to different degrees.
Do you think that means that more unaffiliated Jews are connecting online because they never found that sort of Judaism out there, in the real world is accessible? Is it more accessible to them now because it's online?
Definitely, I think that the multiplicity of identities and affiliations that are available at very low cost, with low bars to entry. You can be a cultural Jew. You can just, if you want to connect by watching a Matis Yahu video online, a lot of people do that. But a lot of people are seeking out more, some deeper ways to connect through, learning Hebrew, going to Israel. I think Birthright Israel has had a huge impact on the population that we're talking about. And I think that, there are definitely opportunities that didn't exist, let's say 10 years ago. And I think that one of the examples that I often point to is the Jewlicious Festival, which started, was a blog, and basically it became a festival of Jewish life, culture, and celebration of everything Jewish. And it attracts hundreds of people, many of whom are not necessarily affiliated with any traditional stream of Judaism. And it really creates a positive environment and connection for people. And I think it also answers some of the questions that people have about how sometimes, that there's a concern that the online world is going to replace the offline world. And I really see them as partners. And I think that that's a really good example of how you can start a conversation online, continue it offline. You can start a conversation offline, continue it online. It just provides more opportunities at more times during the day with fewer bars to entry. And I think that's an incredibly positive thing, this democratization of information, which of course also has its challenges for people who are traditionally involved in information media. But I think that that's definitely one of the advantages. And I think that Judaism as a whole, while it's struggling with this new kind of dynamic, I think it is going to be the richer for it in the future.
So you're also on the speaker circuit. So talk about one of your topics is improv for Jews, and you're soon giving a workshop called Jews Line Is It Anyway? So tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this because when I was in New York, I actually just moved to LA a year and a bit ago. And before that, I was living in New York. I was taking some improv classes with Chicago City Limits. And I started teaching a class at CC on the Upper West Side called Improv for Daters. I thought that there were a lot of basic improv principles that really would help people so much in the realm of dating if only I could impart that knowledge to them. So, or only they could think about taking a conversation to a next level and not necessarily disagreeing with the person who's opposite them, but adding to the conversation in a constructive way. And then I started thinking about it again in terms of something we have here called Limud LA, which is part of an international movement to bring Jewish learning to people from every denomination for a weekend of learning. So when I was trying to think about new and exciting ideas that I could bring to the table at Limud LA, I thought that, being in LA, there's a lot of improv here, there's a lot of comedy here, and I thought that it would be a really interesting thing to try to identify Jewish themes that live within the basic rules of improv.
Before we go, where can folks read your stuff online?
It's actually almost virtually impossible to not read my stuff online. So congratulations, you're already there. But primarily myurbankvetch.com and jdatersanonymous.com. And I also have a personal website, estherk.com, that has a lot of more of my professional social media stuff there. And I also manage a lot of the content at the ROI Community website, so that's roicommunity.org. It's generally a place where we can find out a lot about the ROI Summit of Jewish Innovators, but also to find out what's going on in the world of Jewish innovation, what people are up to worldwide, and that kind of globalized Jewish peoplehood that I was talking about. Really, there's a lot of that on roicommunity.org as well. So, and I also do blog quite frequently at BeliefNet's Idle Chatter blog, which is a little bit more complicated of a URL. I think it's beliefnet.com/blog/idlechatter. But all of those things are completely linked from my various sites, so you can feel free to check out my sites, and there are links there. And there we talk about the intersection between spirituality and popular culture, which is, as you can probably tell, a little bit of a passion of mine. So please leave comments, RSS feed me, add me as a friend on Twitter. Esther K is my Twitter handle.
There is no shortage of a way to reach you.
No, it's really like if you turn on your computer and there isn't something for me on it, then you're probably not Jewish enough.
Esther Kustanowitz, thank you so much for talking with us today for a little small talk. This is Lisa, and this has been a production of Let My People Know. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.